welcome to episode 47, Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your host, Hunter Smith. It's just going to be one of those casts where we are kind of giving you a cast so that you have weekly coverage, but we won't be able to give you a full episode this week, mainly because I'm getting married Saturday, and that's when we usually do the podcast and can get everybody together. So we will be doing a short podcast today. I will have a listener guest with me today, Patrick McGee. I'll bring him in a moment when he's available. Before we get to him, I want to quickly go over the community section and the what I played section, just to talk about some specific pieces with the Deadpool set coming out, and with everybody all excited about the pieces in it and how they perform. I played a hand team. We had an event that was 700 point theme teams. I played the Wolverine, or 750 actually. I played the LE Wolverine from Deadpool, who is a very good hand support team, or piece I mean. And then I played two of the Snake Root Clan ninjas from the Gravity Feed, two hand ninjas from the main set, a main set Elektra, a Hobgoblin Prime from Amazing Spider-Man, and a Silver Samurai from Wolverine and the X-Men. And then I had the hand ATA on each figure, which costs a lot of points, so I played the Power Plant with just 4 rings. Now my team is all melee based, but with only having 18 points available, without having Split Lip on my team, the book wasn't really a good choice. It was an okay choice, but it wasn't a really good choice. And I thought about putting the belt on Hobgoblin, but I thought it'd be a better idea to run the Power Plant and to have 4 rings that could really help me. One of them being Matter Rearranger. That way, if I don't win the map roll, with me investing so many points in the hand ATA, I wanted to have a way of creating blocking terrain if the opponent picked a map that really screwed me over. So I had the Matter Rearranger ring, the Blacklight ring for kind of the same reason, so that I'd have some extra protection. Most of my pieces have regular stealth anyways, so even if I did get burned on map choice, Blacklight ring could help keep me safe. And then I chose the Force Blast ring because it's great for melee pieces, and the what was my last one? Oh, the Vortex that gives you flight and telekinesis, because I don't have any carry besides Hobgoblin Prime. So what I would do is give... Oh, and Psylocke from Wolverine and the X-Men. That's my other piece from the team base. So I had a big hand team. I would give Psylocke the flight ring at the beginning of the game, and then her and Hobgoblin could carry 2 pieces up, and everybody else could move up slowly. So if you're unfamiliar... The linchpin of this team, if there is one, is Wolverine. And I want to talk about... We haven't talked about Wolverine on the podcast or any of the LEs yet. I want to real quickly talk about Wolverine, Agent of Hydra, and tell you he is amazing. He is such a great piece. If you're going to play a hand team or even a Hydra team, he is almost a must-play. He was that good. And I saw a couple other people play him, and they had the same thing to say about him. They absolutely loved him. He's 103 from Deadpool, Wolverine, Agent of Hydra. He costs 90 points. He has the Hydra team ability. And he has a trait that is the reason he is such a great piece for hand teams. It's called My Kind of Hydra. When friendly attackers use the Hydra team ability, they can also affect close combat attacks and don't need line of fire to the target. So basically what that simplistically what it boils down to is when one of my guys goes to make, and as long as Wolverine's still alive, when one of my guys goes to make a close combat attack, the target gets a -1 defense for each Hydra, each adjacent friendly that I have that's next to my attacker who has the Hydra team ability. Even if they're directly behind Wolverine, or whoever's making the attack, even if they're directly behind, as long as they're adjacent to my attacker, they're applying the hand team ability. And with having a bunch of little hand ninjas from the Deadpool set who are absolutely amazing with their free attacks, with having a bunch of them that can just move up and get into position, and then you can have Wolverine charge or Silver Samurai charge or somebody like that, it was a great team. The opponents were constantly having -2 or 3, defense, and then that makes my rolls a whole lot easier to hit. I didn't miss very many attacks because I had that amazing trait. But it also means you need to protect your Wolverine, because I did play a team that was basically the same as mine, and I took out his Wolverine first, and it made a huge difference, not having the Wolverine and not being able to get those bonuses. Besides the trait, this Wolverine also has a charge that can go full movement and ignores characters, so that's really good. And then he has blades as well, and leadership and super senses. And then mid dial, he gets sidestep, precision strike, and a special damage power, which also came in very handy. Wolverine, Agent of Hydra, can use mind control with a range of 6. When he does, a hit target gains the Hydra keyword, and all friendly characters adjacent to the target can use the Hydra team ability for this action. So what that means is, if I have a bunch of my guys swarm somebody, and then Wolverine goes to mind control them, my friendly guys will apply their -1s, even though they're not next to Wolverine, basically. It didn't really come into play with me in my games, because I was doing close combat mind control attacks, but it was still really useful to have the option to close combat somebody. Like, I mind controlled a tier who had a hammer, and I made him kill his own Thor, hit his own Thor for 4 or 5. That's a big deal, having that option, because otherwise Wolverine would have only pegged tier for 1 or 2, whereas with this mind control, he was able to cause tier to hit somebody else for 4 exploits, so that's a big difference. He's just a great piece. If you're next time you go to play a Hydra or hand team, play Wolverine, Agent of Hydra. You will not be disappointed. I was also very happy with Elektra. We talked about her from the main set. Very happy with Hobgoblin Prime and Psylocke. The Hand Ninjas and the Snake Root Clan Ninjas are both really good. I will say the Snake Root Clan Ninjas were not as good as I thought they were going to be, and the Hand Ninjas were way better than I thought they were going to be. The free attack when you're next to another hand is amazing, especially with Wolverine's trait helping you out, and with their 9 movement. I think that was what was key, because the Snake Root guys only had 6, and these guys had 9, so it was easy to full move all the way up on somebody, and then get your free attacks off once you get everybody into position so that they can get Wolverine's trait going. So it was a great team. I went 2-1. I lost to a team that had an Asgardian team that had split lip with the book. I knew there was little chance I was going to win that game. I went ahead, went the opposite way of where his team was going. I phased in Silver Samurai to try to one-shot split lip at the beginning of the game so that my opponent couldn't get free hammers, because I figured that would kind of even the playing field a little bit. And I rolled a 2 on my blades, and if I could have just rolled a 3 or higher, it would have killed him, but unfortunately I rolled a 2. So he got some hammers out, and then ended up getting a win. But it was a really fun team to play. I highly recommend playing. The Hand is always a really fun team to play, but they're actually now legitimate contenders. I feel like with the pieces they got in Deadpool, I feel like they're actually could see some really high level competitive play. So that was what we played, and then moving into community. As far as dial design, we went ahead and started June. I know it's early, and I know it's technically the last week of May, but we went ahead and started the first week of June just due to my scheduling things I have coming up with the honeymoon and everything. So I gave out the first assignment. The theme I chose for this month's dial designs is upcoming sets. So each week you will be designing a dial for a set that WizKids has already announced but hasn't come to fruition yet. So we chose Guardians of the Galaxy for our first week. So I gave out a handful of keywords, and you can design a dial that has at least one of those keywords and is a Marvel character. The keywords are Cosmic, Inhuman, Kree, Skrull, Badoon, Shi'ar, Guardian of the Galaxy, Infinity Watch, Negative Zone, Herald of Galactus, Nova Corps, Eternal, Spartoi, Brood, and Annihilator. So I feel like I got most of the broad races and groups covered in there. Most of you guys have already submitted. Depending on when you're listening to this cast, as long as you're listening to this cast before Sunday, The first, I guess, would be Sunday. It is not too late to submit a dial. So if you hear this cast before Sunday and you want to participate, please jump in on week number 1 and turn in a dial for that. So that'll be the theme for this month, is upcoming sets. Probably we'll do the Flash next week, and then after that, I'm not sure. I'll talk to the boys and see what we want to do. On the YouTube channel, I just put up a review and unboxing of the Days of Future Past Sentinel pack, which was very impressive. And if you're interested in, if you're kind of debating whether you want to drop that much money on the Sentinel packs, be sure to check it out. I break everything down. I also show off the horror tokens that are in there. There's one in particular that's very good. But if you want to get a better look at that, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check that out. And then I'll be doing a review of the Thunderbolts Fast Forces next week. And then the week after that, I will try to do the War of the Light, whatever that pack is called. Blitzkrieg. We always call them Blitzkrieg packs because that was the first, style of pack they made like that. But I don't know what you call it. But anyways, we'll be doing the first War of the Light pack that has Hal and Sinestro and all that. We'll do that in 2 weeks. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So you will hear a pause now. I'll bring in Patrick, and I'll ask him his interview questions, and then we will go in together, cover what little news we have this week, and then we will quickly go over the Days of Future Past set, just mentioning the figures that we feel are really above average, really must-owns for the Days of Future Past set. Okay, so I'm here with Patrick McGee, who is a listener and oftentimes asks us entertaining questions from time to time and sends us supporting messages. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you being here today, Patrick.
No problem. It's my pleasure. I got lucky, and as soon as I got in the clips, you guys had started a podcast. I picked you guys up almost right from the beginning.
Yeah. What set did you start playing with?
I came into Heroclix, July it'll be about a year, and my first brick, pretty much case I bought was Wolverine and the X-Men, which I absolutely love. I think I had pretty good timing. I know the Chaos War is pretty popular too, but that was the first big set to come out when I started playing. But like I said, I started in July and just been picking random pieces up here and there.
Cool. I'm going to ask you the obligatory interview questions I have for all the guests we have on the show, but they're all really easy. Starting off, what are a couple of either your favorite comic book series or just kind of a few of your favorite characters that you follow in comics?
Well, as far as comic book, I was a Marvel guy for a long time, and then I picked up the New 52 Detective Comics, and I've always been a Batman fan. But I started doing more of the 52, got into Swamp Thing, which blew me away, Animal Man, and then that just opened the floodgates for DC, and I've been all over the place with DC. And then Marvel, I'm kind of, once again, that's something I'm all over the place. I'm a huge Cyclops fan, which I get a lot of shit from my buddy Teddy, who doesn't like him that he's a Boy Scout, but I like the Boy Scouts. I like the Captain America and Cyclopses and that stuff.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can call Cyclops a Boy Scout anymore, though, these days.
Yeah, the Uncanny X-Men series that I've been into right now has been pretty awesome. I don't know if you're up to date on it, but...
Yeah, I've been reading it, too. It's pretty good.
Yeah, way fun. I just finished Volume 3, which has a pretty... I don't know if anyone else is up with it, but that's where him and the young Jean Grey meet for the first time. It's a pretty awesome moment.
Well, then you're coming up to something big. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, it's pretty. It's a fun book because you see the Boy Scoutish younger Scott, and then compared to how he is now, and you kind of get both flavors. All right, cool. So I'm also a DC fan, and it's good to hear people like Swamp Thing and Animal Man. Those are my two favorite New 52 books, too.
Yeah, it was nothing that I didn't like them. It's just, growing up, my brother, I have a brother who's 10 years older, so it's just easier to follow than, I was just like, yeah, I'll just read whatever he's buying. And then once I got older myself, I just went into my own path.
Yeah. The if you like Detective Comics, the main Batman series from New 52 has been one of the best.
All over. I just got the hardback of Volume 4, which I believe is the year 1.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm pretty excited to start on that.
Yeah, it's good stuff, especially if you're like a long time like Batman reader. Like it kind of retells some classic origin lines, but with like their I don't know. It's really well done. And then there's a new series called Batman Eternal, which has been pretty good so far too. I think it's on like issues.
I've read the first 2. I've been getting those comics individually, and I read those first 2 with Gordon and everything. So I'm pretty excited to see where those are going. I think there's like 6 or 7 now.
Yeah, it's good. I'm caught up on it. All right. What are your 3 favorite Heroclix, the individual figures?
Individual figures is, like I said, being a Cyclops fan. I don't know how, but I got so lucky. In my case, I didn't pull any chases, and I went to buy one lonely booster and pulled the chase Phoenix Cyclops. Almost lost my shit with that. And then any of the Cyclopses I love. I love Gizmo. Absolutely ridiculous from Teen Titans. So many options he gives you when playing. It's not even funny. And then third, the Gravity feed, I think it's Gravity, the little 202 Daredevil. Deadpool from this last set is quickly becoming one of my favorite pieces. Especially with the word bubble, the hammer time and fourth wall prob, all that is making him right up there, one of my favorite pieces to play.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye.
Looking at Chaos War Hawkeye.
Oh, man. Ridiculous.
Yeah, the Feared Self Hawkeye is really good, too. Looking at the Deadpool, like, I've been kind of going through, trying to figure out, like, which one I want to play, because I got a team coming up and I want to try them out. And I really like the LE version, too. But honestly, like, as far as just overall what's the best dial, the Gravity Feed one, honestly, is the best just overall dial. It's just really solid.
Yeah, like, when those pink powers first came out, I was right there with everyone else where I was like, yeah, these all seem kind of lame. And then you start feeling the sidestep just unbelievable. So, I know he doesn't have the move and attack that people want out of Deadpool, but he's still fun, man, especially with those word bubbles. Are you, the Ellie, the one that you're talking about, is it the X-Men one?
Yeah, the X-Men Deadpool. I like him too.
I haven't had a chance to play him yet, but he does look fun.
Next question. You won't have as many to choose from since you're pretty new, but what would you say is your favorite set?
Favorite set? I have, like I said, I know the Chaos War is a lot older, and I picked up that was obviously before my time, and I've gotten a lot of, like, the Wasp, I believe it is, the little, she's like 75 points, I picked her up, of course, Mole Man, I know he's from, the Infinity Gauntlet one, or Guardians of the Galaxy, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I have gone out of my way to pick up some of the older ones. But I do like the Wolverine and the X-Men just because that is from when like I said, that was my first case that I got, so I'm a little sentimental about it.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great set too. I mean, that's the best-selling set of, really, honestly, the best-selling set ever as far as I know. I mean, it's one of the only sets that's just sold out like that quick. You can't find that anywhere, and it didn't take that long for it to sell out, even around here where it's not super densely populated, of areas.
Yeah, we're a pretty good city, and like I bought a brick, and then I kept doing like little events, and every time I would go, I would buy I would go do a sealed event, and then buy like 2 or 3 more, and then within like that month, I believe it was like during the Fear itself was going on. So by the end of that, they were nowhere to be found in Phoenix. So.
And then last question: favorite theme team.
Like I said, because I like to run that Hawkeye so much, I do like some Thunderbolts. That's pretty fun for me. And then Batman villains. That seems to be common amongst everyone, but who doesn't love Batman villains? That Deadshot is so much fun from the Arkham video game one.
Yeah. Oh, he's good. All right, so Patrick and I are going to go through the news. There's not much to talk about. Part of that is my fault because I'm having to do this on Thursday, but also just because Days of Future Past just came out and War of the Light's coming up, so there hasn't been a whole lot of things for them to spoil. Newsarama did spoil the White Lantern Core power battery and ring, and they're both very good. The bonus you get from the battery, if you have all the colors matched, is that you give a friendly core member a power action, and you heal all other characters within 6 squares in one line of fire of 6 squares in line of fire of 1 damage. And those characters that you're healing, it doesn't say, heal all other characters with the keyword or anything. It's just all other characters. But note that doesn't say friendly, so you got to make sure that you do it at the right time with the right person so that you don't inevitably heal up your opponent's characters. But this can be potentially.
I'm glad I have a judge read it first of all, because I wouldn't have even noticed that.
Yeah, that's every time I see a new power, I try to break down what are all the keywords here? They are getting better.
Only one friendly character that gets the action?
Yeah, you just give one. Well, you have to give a friendly core member, so someone who has a construct. You give them a power action, and then heal all other characters within 6 squares in line of fire of 1 damage. So that could potentially be ginormous. I mean, depending.
Yeah, so during my turn, if I have 3 guys with 3 different constructs, can they each get a power action, and I can heal 3 characters?
I don't see why not. Yeah,
that
you
could
could do
be
that.
pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, or if you're playing a big points game and you're running a bunch of 50-ish points pieces, and you give your one White Lantern dude a power action, just heal them all up. It can be pretty nuts. And the ring's really good too. It costs 6 points, and of course, like the others, if the figure already has the keyword, then you get all values plus 1 except damage. Otherwise, this character has the keyword, and once per game, when this character would be KO'd, you instead turn it to its last non-KO click, and then it can use regen during your next turn. So you give it an extra life, basically. And of course, there will be specific figures that this will be better on than others, but still, regardless, that's a great power, especially on big points pieces, like a Colossal or something like that, or on pieces that get better as they go on, like a lot of Bizarros and stuff like that. Hulks, even.
Yeah.
Some Hulks do that too, so potentially it could be very good. So those are looking nice. Now, it doesn't say on the article, though, where and how you're going to get the White Lantern stuff.
White Lantern.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Does they show a picture of the number on it?
All the numbers are the same on the card. They all say R101.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Yeah, I tried to look for that too. So I don't know. I guess we can't get any hints from that since all the colors are the same number. And then other news. All of the dials from the War of the Light have been spoiled. Most of them with pictures. And I have them all pulled up here. So what I'm going to do is paste this URL in the podcast description as I usually do. We are not going to go through each one of them because, as you guys know, this is I guess the biggest set there ever has been, actually, now that I think about it. The biggest...
Especially for sealed like this.
Yeah. It's the biggest main set, not counting Gravity Feed and Fast Forces and stuff. The actual set, this is the biggest set.
So you're going to put your honeymoon on hold for this set then, huh?
No.
You're going to cost a lot of money collecting all these bad boys.
Yeah, I know. I'll be playing at 2 venues, though, so I'm sure I'll hopefully eventually get a hold of these. But if you guys would like to go through these, I will put the URL in there, and you can flip through them. I will just make a quick note that all of the entities that each lantern has their own entity. Each of them seem to have a 25-point option besides their big powerful option, and all of them are really good from what I've seen.
Yeah,
almost too
they're
good.
Really worth checking out. Like,
just for
especially if you're paying 25 points on those things, that's pretty bonkers.
Yeah, just for example, the two I have pulled up in front of me, the White Lantern one, for only 25 points, he just has Smoke Cloud and Outwit. But then he has a special power at the beginning of your turn. Or sorry, I'm reading the wrong one here. Basically, you take a figure that's pretty much normal symbols and more than 25 points, and then you possess it. And then you give the possessed character, once per turn, you get to basically choose a power that is on the dial, and you get your character that's possessed gets to use that, and then you get to choose a value and pump it up by 1, just to kind of quickly sum things up. There's a little more detail than that, but basically once per turn you're getting to choose whatever of 4 good powers, because looking at both dials, the powers look great, and then you're getting to choose one of those, and then you're getting to pump up a value, and it's on most figures, it's going to last the full dial because these dials are 11 clicks long. So unless you're playing a Colossal or something, you're not going to lose the entity either. So it looks pretty good for 25 points, I got to say.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, 25 points.
And then Days of Future Past released, as everybody knows. So be sure to get those.
We got them late here in Phoenix. They are fun, especially if you're an X-Men fan.
It's a good set. The sculpts are nice. I played against some yesterday, and they seem to play pretty well. And it is already sold out up here. So if you guys are interested in that set, make sure you get a hold of some soon.
I will say, I feel really lucky with getting in where I have like that. The sets are just WizKids keep one-upping themselves with their sculpts, at least, like. I understand when you're mass producing, accidents are bound to happen, and like that Deadpool said, some things missing arms and stuff. But overall, man, they're doing a great job with the sculpts. Yeah,
the CTD sets and the individual things like that always tend to have better sculpts than the main sets too.
Yeah, I watched the Yu-Gi-Oh one that you guys, and I'm not even a huge Yu-Gi-Oh fan, and all of those just look ridiculously awesome.
Yeah.
They do step them up for those.
I've been pulling up some Mage Knight figures for a tournament coming up soon because I love my Mage Knight figures, but I don't get a lot of chances to play them. But they have the best sculpts of any Heroclix, I think. I mean, it's impressive, and the Yu-Gi-Oh set's very good too. But Days of Future Past is out. Be sure to get a hold of some because it seems to be selling out fast, like anything X-Men seems to do. And Patrick and I are going to go through and mention each of us will do what we think are the 3 best figures in the set, and the ones that you really, even if you're not going to collect the whole set, if you play X-Men and Brotherhood from time to time, these are the ones to pick up maybe on the secondary market or trade for or try to get a hold of, even if you're not going to try to collect the whole set. These are the kind of standout pieces, and we'll each do one at a time and mention the piece and then describe why what it has and why we think it's one that you should be really paying attention to. I'll let Patrick start off with his number 1 first.
I'm going to go with the one that everyone I'm sure has already eyeballed, which is the Wolverine. He's number 13 from the set. He's an uncommon. He's 7 clicks long. He has a trait healing factor. Wolverine can use regen. When he has 2 action tokens, he can use it as a free action, which is already insane as it is. I mean, he's 130 points, and that alone for me, you're keeping somebody on the board just regen and making people waste attacking that guy. And then he has his first 3 clicks of movement are a special movement power. It says Wolverine can use Blades, Claws, Fang, Charge, and Flurry, which is also Charge and Flurry. Blades, Claws combo, that's pretty insane. I know people's biggest gripe about him is he doesn't ignore hindering for movement. So he will take a little finesse, but that alone right there. Precision Strike 2, he has Precision Strike the first 3 clicks, and then that just falls into Blaze Claws, which is awesome. And then he has Empower, and then he has for 3 clicks, and then he also has for 4 clicks Close Combat Reflexes, and he starts at a 17, so in Indom, he looks pretty fun to me.
He looks very good. I think this is the best Wolverine that they've made, personally.
Yeah, I know the rare one for this looks a lot of fun, but overall, as far as attacking, I mean, this one looks fun. And the X-Men team abilities, right up there is one of my favorites.
If this guy just had the X-Force keyword, he would be by far, he would be no doubt my favorite Wolverine. But
he didn't have that.
He just has X-Men, but he is such a good dial. The Flurry, Blades, Charge, Precision Strike. I don't know what else, and then Regen, possibly free. I don't know what else people want on their Wolverine, honestly. He's really good for 130 points, and he's only an uncommon. My top one is going to be another obvious one that we've talked about on the podcast, Myra McTaggart. She is basically the Donald Blake, but for X-Men teams. She's 28 points. She also is an uncommon, so she shouldn't be too expensive to pick up. She has a trait, but that's not really why you play her, but its characters can't use the capture ability. But the reason why you play her is because she is a medic that is on par with Donald Blake, but a little bit different. She also has an 11 attack like Donald Blake, an 11 attack support, which is extremely good. What she has over him is that she has willpower and he does not. But then again, Donald Blake can alter ego towards the end of his dial, so he has that going for him.
Honestly, I've never seen Donald Blake get converted into a Thor.
Oh, yeah?
So that's why, I mean, if somebody's going to make an attack on him, he's usually done. I mean, same's going to happen to her, but...
Yeah, people usually try to one-shot Donald Blake when they hit him just so they don't have to deal with him. Because even on his last click, he's got like a 10 attack support.
Yeah, I mean, both of these it's ticker-tack. I mean, if you want that option for throwing into converting him into Thor, or, I mean, being able to having that willpower, I like that.
Yeah, I like her. She comes in 5 points cheaper and having willpower. I think she's great, and I think if you play X-Men at all, I think she's almost a must-have, to be totally honest. Like, she's an excellent piece for her points. Patrick, who's your number 2?
My number 2 is one that I was very unsure about when I first saw him. I don't know why, but I went with Pyro. Pyro's 90 points. He has the Brotherhood of Mutant keyword, of course, the team ability, and then he has the Freedom Force, and then he has a trait, which is the Flame Construct, when Pyro has no action tokens, and there isn't a friendly flame construct, that's not easy to say. You may place one on the map adjacent to him, give him a free action, and place one in an unoccupied adjacent square, and it becomes a bystander token as described on the back of his card. Which I think anytime you have a character that for free makes a bystander token, that's a huge plus. I love doing that. But this little token is nothing to see his either. He's got a 6 charge, 9 poison, and a 2 exploit weakness, and a bare 15D, but he looks pretty fun. As far as Pyro goes, he's nothing to bat an eye at. You got an 8 running shot with an 11 attack energy explosion. And that energy explosion is all the way down his dial. He has 2 targets, and he starts off with 2 clicks of enhancement, and then the rest of his dial he is at perplex. He falls onto sidestep and then running shot again. I way underestimated him. He's a great piece, and I love Brotherhood of Mutants. So
I just played against him yesterday, and he is very good. I knew he was really good, so I went after him first. Him and Avalanche, another pretty solid figure from the set. I went after them first because I knew they were so nasty. But that little construct was a big pain in the butt, and he gets to put it on the board for free, and you honestly have to go after it, because if you don't, it can actually dish some reliable damage out with exploit and then poison. It's pretty nasty.
It's free. Those things that you pop out a free pog. I don't even care if it's like the old school little girl ones. If you're just popping out a free pog to tie something up, that's always huge.
Yeah. Another piece that my opponent had was Destiny, and Destiny's my number 2 on my list, and she was actually better played than I thought she looked, and that's saying something, because her dial is very impressive. She's only 50 points. She has the Brotherhood of Mutants and Freedom Force keywords, Brotherhood team ability, and she has a really good trait. After an opposing character within 8 squares uses Outwit, Perp, or Prob, and actions resolve, deal that character 1 damage if it has not already taken damage from this effect this turn. And that really screwed me over, because there was a couple times where I'd miss an attack and I wanted to theme prob, and I couldn't. I could, but it's not really worth it. There was one time where I felt like it was worth it, but my character didn't have willpower and was taking in a second token. So I ended up, just to theme prob, I ended up taking a token, pushing from that, and then taking another damage from Destiny. So I had to make sure that anybody using those powers had toughness or better and wouldn't have to take the 1 damage, since it's not penetrating. She also has a very good prob control damage power that she has for all 5 clicks of her dial.
This is one of my favorite parts about her too. Yeah.
It was very annoying to fight against too. She can use probability control as if she had a range value of 8, and she does not need line of fire to the attacker if she has line of fire to the target. So oftentimes I would have to be cognizant of that and either block the line of fire to the target with one of my other guys, like kind of go tie up somebody else first and try to position blocking her line of fire, or just go after people she couldn't see, because otherwise there's no point. I mean, she is just a great support piece. And
yeah, that's really huge. If you're on a map, if you got a bad map, you just park her around the wall next to somebody. And
yeah, because her trait also doesn't need any line of fire. You know, it's just anyone within 8 squares has to, can't use Outwit per prob. So she's really nasty. And then honestly, she can even dish out. My opponent didn't, but she can reliably dish out damage herself from 5 range away, because she has a crossbow power on her first 2 clicks. She has Precision Strike and Range Combat Expert as if she had a range value of 5. And she has a 10 attack, 0 damage. But with Precision Strike, you can just, go 1-1 with an 11 attack and then get that guaranteed 1 damage through. And for only 50 points, plus having what she already has, like that's all you need. It's just a little peg of damage here or there. And then she also has Super Senses full dial too, so it's annoying to try to take her out. She's a great piece. Another piece where if you play Brotherhood pieces at all, this is a must-own for Brotherhood teams, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this definitely is a fun piece. I think she has potentially, you'll start to see her at some of the IOC events, just for the fact that with, like, Titellus and all those other ones where you can just keep her parked back and out of harm's range, and that's, I mean, especially with a lot of the players, any of the newer ones that don't have the $50 to $75 to throw down for those Scarlet Witches that have the perplexing prob. There you go, right here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. For 50 points, it's not bad. If she had a wider array of keywords, I would say it's almost guaranteed that she'll see play. But I don't know. I think we will see her a couple times here and there. Who is your number 3?
Number 3 is one that I was unsure about. I'm trying to find it right now. Because of her defense, but I'm going to go with Mystique. She's number 18. She is a rare. At first, I wasn't sure her defense is Mystique can use Mastermind and Toughness, which normally Mastermind I've been kind of going away from for the simple fact of Precision Strike has been pretty big lately. But the reason I like her is she can use Mastermind and Toughness. She may transfer damage to a friendly character of a higher point value that shares a keyword with her, and when she does, that character ignores 1 damage after damage reducers, which is, I mean, right there alone, I mean, in the set, you've got the Blob or any other older pieces that you can think of that are higher point that share a keyword with it. She only has the Spy alone, I think she'll be able to mix it in and help her out a lot. But she's 6 clicks long, and her movement changes back and forth between stealth and sidestep, which is pretty awesome. And then she has her, as a trait, it's called Shapeshifter. She can use Shape Change, and when she does, and the result of 6 opposing characters can't attack this turn, which I'm already like Shape Change, but on an off chance that you just end their turn, that is huge. Whether or not it's a lucky 6 or not, that is awesome to me. And then pretty much through her entire dial, she has Perplex or Outwit, but for the first 2 clicks, she has a special Magneto taught me well. It's Mystique can use Leadership and Perplex, which I'm a huge fan of Perplex anyway, so I like her. She's a lot of fun. She falls onto a click 4. She falls on the Willpower, and she just is on the board, especially on a theme team with Blob or anyone else. She performs a lot better than I thought she would.
Yeah, I'm planning on picking her up. My number 3 is Angel. He is a common from the set, and he's just a good. He's a solid attacker, but he's also brings some cool support powers to the table too. He is 74 points, has both the Defenders and X-Men team abilities and keywords. He also has the X Factor keyword, Champions, and Celebrity. And he has a really good trait which can lead to some potentially great team builds. He adjacent friendly characters with the Defenders or X-Men team ability can use both the Defenders and the X-Men team abilities. So as long as you can set up some good team builds with some high defenses, you can really take advantage of that. He also is, of course, a flyer, has a high movement value with a 10 on his first 4 clicks, and he can use charge, and when he does, he ignores characters, and he gets +2 speed, which is nice if you want to just kamikaze, have him fly all the way in, or it would make up for the -2 that you would take if you carry someone in with you for the Defenders and all the other bonuses. So it kind of would still give you a 5 square charge even when carrying somebody, which is also nice. And then he has sidestep as well. So having sidestep and charge, he has no range, but having sidestep and charge on a good map with a good team built around him, I think he's a great piece. Then if he takes a hit after he charges in, he'll most likely get knocked onto one of his 2 clicks of Flurry. And he may also have Perplex, because he has Perplex on clicks 2 and 3. Then his last, clicks number 5 and 6, he's not as good. He has Earthbound Neutralized, and he has Combat Reflexes, so it'd be a good time to use the X-Men team ability and heal him back up. But I just think the trait and then the initial 3 or 4 clicks are good enough that for 74 points, I think you get a lot of bang for your buck, and you can always use a good taxi piece on X-Men teams also. So, thanks for being with me today, Patrick, and helping me wrap up the Days of Future Past set.
No problem, anytime, man. I'm a huge fan of the podcast. I'm glad I could help out this week.
You, what area do you live in, and what venue do you play at?
I live in Phoenix, Arizona. For a while, I was going all over the place, and finally convinced. I have a little collector's market that's near me, and they're usually not open Tuesdays, but they've been doing a Magic tournament there. So I talked to the guy and a few other people, and was like, "Man, do you mind if we start doing Heroclix here?" And he's a huge fan of them as well, so we started doing it at a little collector's market, a pop culture comics place inside there that we started doing them. But like I said, we started off with Fear itself and going around pretty much all the valley, playing wherever I could. So.
All right, so if anybody's in the Phoenix, Arizona area, be sure to look for that and go and play some clicks with Patrick.
Yep, we got a good crew going around there.
Well, next week we will be back to our full schedule. We'll have a full episode. We'll kind of do a brief breakdown on the War of the Light, talk distribution and OP kits and stuff, because there are a lot of big changes with the OP kit layout for this set. And with
that starts next week, right?
Yeah, I don't know how much stock I'd put in that, because just from the past history of the last few events have been delayed by WizKids. This one seems to be on track. I will say that distributors are acting like it's going to be here on time. But just to be safe, we're not doing our first event at my venue. I'm going to put it off a couple weeks just to make sure I got all my ducks in a row before we put the official date in there. But yeah, supposedly the kits will be in and people can start running events midway through next week. But next week's episode we'll be talking about that and then cover news. So we'll be back on full schedule next week with the whole crew, hopefully. But Patrick, you did a stand-up job standing in for Drew and Austin. And hopefully in the future I can have you on and can help me out next time I need some help.
Anytime. As a Clicks fan, you guys do great work. It's fun hearing, like I said, those two go at it sometimes. You guys do a good job of keeping people up to date and explaining things. Having a judge-your perspective on things is always helpful. So I enjoy that. And from some of the videos, I don't know if you guys go to their YouTube and watch their stuff. Hunter is not your normal a nerd. He looks like he's all jacked up, so he's not your stereotypical nerd, bringing it, helping out the rest of us.
Yeah, they tease me at our venues. They tease me for being good looking, if you can believe it. Like I get ragged on because I'm good looking and everybody else is a nerd. But anyways, yeah.
I'll try to feel sympathetic for you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with full schedule. Catch you guys next week.